So you're ready to buy a truck. Let's talk about it. A few things where you have to understand in buying a truck is you have to understand why you're buying the truck. What are you going to use it for? Uh, every truck has a different purpose. You know, some trucks like Kenworth trucks are used for heavy hauling, which requires a little bit more power. You have, Freightliner Volvos. They may be used for, like your just regular dry freight hauling. Those, you have to understand what is your purpose in buying a truck. Now, a couple things that goes along with that is that what are you planning on doing with the truck? Are you planning on leasing your truck on with a company, or are you planning on getting your own authority? Do you already have contracts already set up that you planning on utilizing to run your truck, and what that looks like? Now, the bigger part of it is that do you understand the cost that's going to cost you to operate your truck? Do you know what your insurance is going to cost? Do you know how much your truck payment is going to cost? If you are buying tags and you have to make payments on your tags, are you getting the tags on your own, or are you getting it through the company? What is that cost is going to entail? And then you also have to understand what your cost per mile is going to be. Is that going to be 35 cents a mile? Is it going to be $1.25 a mile? What is your cost of operations going to be before you buy that truck? Now, the other thing you have to think about is what are you going to use as far as your fuel is concerned? What type of fuel card are you going to use in order to get your truck up and going? Are you going to use the company's fuel card? Or are you going to get your own fuel card? Usually when you lease onto a company, they do provide a fuel card for you because they give you a significant amount in discounts as far as fuel is concerned. Now, the other thing is that you also want to make sure that you have a good mechanic, a certified diesel mechanic in order to go look at a truck with you, because just because it looks pretty on the outside does not necessarily mean that it's a truck that's ready, that's DOT ready to work as soon as you buy that truck. So make sure that you have that in place. Now, the other thing is that what do you plan on doing with the truck? If you plan on going over the road, you plan on running regional, you plan on running local, because that also makes a difference as to what type of truck you want to buy. Because if you buy a day cab, I highly suggest that you wouldn't want to go over the road with a day cab truck unless you plan on spending money to get to stay in the hotel every day. Day cabs are usually designed for short local runs if that's what you want to do. Now, the other side of it is that you have to understand what kind of motor you want to get, whether it be a Cummins, whether it be a D13, whether it be a DD13, DD15 type motor for your truck. So you also have to understand what type of motor you're going to get, what's going to be more successful for you to, do the work that you needed to do. Now, the other side of the coin is that what kind of apps are you planning on using for your operation? There's a lot of trucker apps out here, but what is going to be required for you to be able to be successful on the road out here on, when you buy your truck? What is your plan on doing that? Also, what is your insurance going to look like? Are you planning on getting bobtail insurance on your own, or are you going to get the bobtail insurance through the company? If you decide to lease onto a company, they have to cover the cargo insurance. So these are the things that you want to make sure that you look at. These are the things that you want to make sure that you consider in buying a truck. Also, make sure that you have, the business side of it and the business understanding of just driving a truck. Just because you drive, 2,000 miles and you made, $3,000 for the week, or you made $4,000 for the week, let's take in consideration what is coming out of that $3,000 or $4,000 for the week. How much fuel did you spend? How much is your insurance going to cost you? What are those numbers looking like, and what are those numbers breaking down to when you decide that you want to buy a truck? I just had a driver that I ran into, and he bought a truck, and when he bought the truck, he came in for a steer tire, but then come to find out he had a bent rim on a steer tire, so he ended up having to get two steer tires and two rims replaced, along on the fact that he had 8 mixed match tires on the tractor as well. So now you're talking about your fuel costs. You're talking about how many miles per gallon is it going to cost you to operate your runs. So you have to make sure that you also prepare to, be ready for expenses that comes along with that. When the truck breaks down, or we need to get an oil change, or if a tire blows, are you prepared? Are you ready for those expenses that's going to come along with that? Because it's not about if it's going to happen, it's when it happens. Are you really prepared for that breakdown? And how do you get the breakdown? Are you prepared to pay a tow bill if you need to pay a tow bill? Or if your truck is, can't run, are you prepared to pay the tow bill, stay in a hotel, and still try to figure out how you're going to be able to run your load. Because at the end of the day, that load still has got to be delivered, right? And then the other side that you got to think about it is that, this goes to your name as to you as a business owner, as to whether you can deliver your load or not because your truck breaks down. So these are the things that you have to think about when you are talking about buying a truck and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with the truck. But this is what the channel is going to be about. Welcome to 18 Wheels to Success. This is what the channel is going to be about. You got any kind of comments, any kind of feedback, anything you want me to talk about or discuss, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment in the section. Tell me what you want to talk about and let me know if this helps you as well.